ゲームは悪魔城かな。悪魔城ドラキュラ目視録じゃなくて、失礼しました。デビルダンパー、ドリスというゲームですね。このゲームも、解説の方いらっしゃいませんので、よろしければ、募集の方お願いいたします。ユニークなケーキのゲーム終わりましたので、
Game-a-thon. That is DORIS slots for Devil DUMPER DORIS by mooware. So yeah, stick around. We're going to
皆さん、ご視聴ありがとうございます。
Yeah, well, I'll leave it to that in just a little more and tell you something else. And everyone, okay, with this lovely Back to the Future music, I bid you farewell for now. This is the end of my first
次のゲームは、あれですね、2D の悪魔城ライフのゲームみたいですね。失礼しました。
So yeah, let's head up for Devil DUMPER DORIS.
お、タイマーの横に主人公の女の子が走ってる。
Well, this looks kind of cut off. That doesn't look quite right. That's a bit cut off. We should be using the 4x3 layout for this, I think. That seems a bit wide. Okay.
Right, hi again. Give us a moment, we're going to look into this. Should be a quick hasty fix. So yeah, hold on.
画面の解像度というか、明日日かな、戻りま
Hi,
したね。
hello. Now we're getting the full Devil Dumper picture here. Welcome to Devil Dumper Doris and the start of the Devil Dumper block here. We're gonna see a few games about dumping devils.
このゲーム、デビルダンパ
We're starting with the most
ドリ
important one, the
ス
classic.
かなも、解説の方いらっしゃいません。このゲーム詳しいよ、知ってるよ、
Let's just get into it. The
やったこと
title, by the way,
あるよ
really
という
starts,
方は、
once we get control of the character, we've got a bit of story to cover
こ
here.
の程度の、お気軽にご応募ください。
Once upon a time, there was a small country in a corner of the world. The small country was subject to the invasion of a larger country. The Lord fought hard to
小
protect
さ
his
な国
country
は
and citizens.
領主は
Still fend
国
off
と
the
民を
invasion, although
守るべ
nobody
く
put
手を
back
尽
the
くして
front lines.
奮戦
The nobles
前
soon
線を
moved to the
後
large
退させ
country.
侵略を
The war last spoke
退け
as
た
a
が
public execution.
貴族たちの裏切りによって大国に売られた。
I will definitely revive and regain
公開処刑の場で領主
The
は言っ
lord was
た。
executed. However, hundreds of years later,
薄汚い侵略者、売国奴どもよ。私は必ず蘇り、あ、ちょっと待って。領主は処刑された。
The Lord has revived as a blood blood-sucking monster.
日本人作者の方なんですね。100年の領主は侵略に対抗する術として冒涜的ながい名状しがたい知識に手をつけて、そして現在領主は調査する化け物として蘇った。遺産文化登録済み大学でおかげしかといつ地方のマージさんでは手に余る。時代作者はエクソシスト。火が風流集をとまれては断るわけにもいくまい。その注釈いる店長の悪魔の城へ。なるほど。
Right. So here's Doris. She just rolled in on her scooter. Yeah, she's the...
なかなかこう世界観がリアル。
If you're on a tight budget, as the introduction mentioned, it's obviously foolish to send in the army. That would be too much, but the police can't handle it. So we've got this kind of ball of chain, almost whip. And it's got some special features, so we can spin it around.
あ、グッドラックです。
We can latch onto these like gems. The game calls them hooks. And at least according to the Steam page, they're basically the souls of the defeated enemies flying towards heaven, I think, or
これが
something
ド
like
ラ
that.
キュラ枠
And
で
for
す
some
か
reason we
ね。
can hook onto them. And it might look like something that's useful in a speedrun, but no, not really, not much. Sometimes it even gets you into more danger than it's really helping. So I already picked up a sub-weapon here. I've got the axe, that's the most useful one.
なんかちょくちょく
No, don't want the cross, thank you. So the axe is gonna be pretty useful.
ボールにこのなんか投げてるボールみたいなのに当たったらチェーンみたいにこう引き寄せて自分を高速移動させているのかな。
We've got our first boss, the friendly skeleton.
回してる。
I also like the hand gesture he does. It's kind of like he says, "Oh, please." And yeah, the axe is pretty useful here. Although I'm not actually sure the axe does a lot of damage. I think it does like a lot of.
振り回してるこれは何なのかは私には分かりません。チェーンをイメージしてるのかなと。
And that takes care of that
という気
skeleton.
もしなくもない。
On we go to the chapel in Miasma.
あ、今度は崩れるか。
Here's one useful hook for once. So one thing you might have seen earlier, I got a very high jump earlier. It's like a funny little oh damn.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what can happen with the hooks. That one pulled me right over a pit.
あ、落下したら即死で、最初から。
Doris isn't easily deterred. So it's definitely a risk that you can easily accidentally catch a hook. Even when your spinning whip can catch a hook, and then it will just pull you somewhere.
なるほど。鬼殺しのディアボロのリメイク作品。
Platforms by ducking. I think that's also like a little funny physics quirk. It doesn't work on every moving platform, but on some of them. Usually it's
難易度高そうなんですよね。ちょっとずつ。
Want to keep moving forward. Here we go. Yeah, there's the big jumps. So the game has some funny interactions with the corners of platforms, basically, when you jump or when you fall. And sometimes that can give you a much higher jump, and sometimes it can just throw you straight down into a pit. These spike balls here are instant death, so I want to be a bit careful. That one might kill me. Very close one. So if you're thinking that this looks a lot like an Xbox Live indie game, I don't think it was actually on the service, but it's definitely off the time. So
敵から出てくるたまに
2022, 2023.
ロープが当たると、ムチが当たると、こうロープアクションみたいに熱くするのはなかなかにユニークな部分です。
This boss fight is gonna be very slow. So this boss is Backbeard, which I only know from Gegege no Kitaro. I'm not sure if Backbeard is
奏者の方もゲゲゲの鬼太郎って言ってますね。
and he loves flying around way above me, which means I can't hit him. The axe would really help there, but sadly we lost that, so it's going a bit slower. Yeah, you might mistake him for Krakow, but he doesn't like it. I can try using the spinning whip, but it doesn't really work while you're jumping. Okay, here we go. This is the one attack where he doesn't immediately disappear. It gives me the chance to land some hits. Oh yeah, I picked up the gun. Classic sub-weapon, a gun. Get down there, Backbeard. There we go.
結構無敵時間も長めですね。食らった後の。
Right. So for this next boss, the axe wouldn't really be as useful. If anything, I want a sub-weapon that shoots straight, although I think sub-weapons aren't even that useful for it. But first we have to get there. This stage is probably called the Graveyard or something. The stages have some pretty good names. Actually all the bosses even...
この桟橋もしかしてそういえばこのゲームは悪魔の世界文化遺産のに登録されたというお城に入り込むゲーム、つまり選手入場。選手入場です。
I think if you hit the edge of the hitbox just right, then you can kind of jump off it.
そうですね。ここが世界遺産文化遺産登録済みのお城。
Yeah, Doris is a very powerful strut. Nothing can stop her with that strut. Don't want to bother with these guys, so we're just gonna go through.
地元の観光資源は大打撃でしょ
う。And in rooms like this one, I really have to be careful how I jump up.
観光資源に大ダメージって言ったらちょっと軍隊出てきてもよかったのではってちょっと思わなくもない。
It's a funny new trick, falling chandeliers.
硬いですね、あの騎士。
Those ones, but those large jumps, just like the hooks, they're kind of not really that useful.
ちょっとダメージブーストでこんな感じ。
Don't think I'm gonna get the hook here, so of course this big painting of it.
あ、即死
That was slightly too late. So if you catch the hook there, you can kind of pull yourself ahead.
なんだとあ、つまりあのシャンデリアとかも全部即死なのかな。
Let's see, can I get the hook? Probably not. Oh, there we go.
うまい。
It's always a bit risky. Okay, we're back at gun. Gun isn't too bad for the boss here. Gonna spin the whip to block some projectiles in case that skeleton thing that does something.
意外と背景の落ちてくる地面は分かりやすいけど、狼男かな
He mostly bounces around and he's got this kind of throwing psi attack, which is a real problem because it's hard to predict when he's doing it. I only know that he's mostly doing it when he's on the wall. If I'm getting very lucky, then he might get stuck on the walls on the side. Like, maybe now? Okay, now he's jumping out.
強っ
Okay, there we go. Went pretty okay. Hey, don't call this castle a dump. You saw earlier, it's a registered cultural
な
heritage
かな
site.
か、しかも、早い。
It needs to be preserved like this, that's the law. I forgot who's the boss here. Is it the... I think it's the blob. Which would mean I wanna have the eggs. These blobs here are funny and dangerous. They are instant death if you touch them. And they've got their own death animation for Doris and Scream. Very long, kinda concerning Scream. Which I think is maybe a good time to mention. If you wanna look up what else this developer did, this is the only game of theirs on Steam. But on the Japanese side, DL side, they've got a whole bunch of stuff. And it's all not safe for work. And there's even one game there that involves Doris and slime like
まあまあまあ、エクソシストなんで、聖水はそりゃ持ってるでしょう。って言っても、まあまあ、聖水は持ってても、まあ違和感はないですね。
Right, coming up is one of the only two places in the game where you actually get a health item. You might be asking, where's the wall meat? Well, we've got meat. There's gonna be wall meat later. But now we just get open air meat. I think here's an axe. Yeah, there we go. Definitely want this axe. This guy's kinda hard to skip around. Oh, no! Damn it. That one got me just right.
なかなかに敵の配置がいやらしいです。これは。
So this part is a bit dangerous.
このゲームは
And also you can't actually really stand
あくまでオーライクなんで
on this.
ね。
Now it works, but sometimes you just you can't move, you can't jump for a bit.
なかなかこの落ちる足場、
They're not proper
一
floor.
定時間で落とされる足場に位置配置するのは
This boss It's called Shoggoth, like the Cthulhu monster, I think. It's a blob thing. I'm not sure that's accurate for the Shoggoth. And there's a funny glitch that could happen. Would be nice to get it. I can't really control it very well, so if you defeat the boss while it has that hand attack out, then the boss music will keep playing into the next stage while the music of the other stage is also playing. But of course it depends on the boss patterns. If it gives me a hand while I'm doing the last hit, then we can get the nice glitch here. I'm getting a lot of hands, that's good.
やっぱなんかのただうまくいいこと骸骨に当てるとただヒットしてそう。
So this next stage is a little bit of a dormant, but not much.
EST 的には折り返し地点。
If you take the wrong door, then I think it sends you back to the start. Or at least it doesn't send you forward.
まあでもバタフライはまあ遅延されることを込みで組んでそうな気はする。
There's a case where the game just dumps me straight.
さすがにリロチ即死じゃなかった。
The axe is pretty useful here because I can take out the enemies up there. We will have to walk all of the way back.
もしかして本当は目玉王に斧持っていきたかったけど落ちちゃったから持っていけなかったからロスったのかな。
Here's another axe. Maybe swap that out for a fresh one. So if I hadn't taken out
床は本だったと。
Fireballs now. Hoping for a little glitch coming up ahead where a part of an enemy doesn't spawn. Right. There we go. Perfect. I love it. So the skeleton's bones didn't spawn. I can just jump through. Very convenient. Thank you, skeleton. I'm not sure what exactly influences that, but it happens kinda often.
まあ敵に占領された敵の本ですからね。
Yeah, I've only seen it recently, so I think it might be related to something I do before that, or the speed I'm going through. Also, here's the second healing item, and it's some genuine wall meat.
デス様だ。
So this boss is the Grim Reaper, classic. And again, he loves to float way above us, so the axe is very useful. Also got a little friend coming in here.
まあ悪魔城には死神がいないとな。
Some of these bosses also have desperation attacks. You might have seen it on the werewolf earlier.
デス様が死んだ。
The werewolf kind of drops a kind of bomb on you, and the Grim Reaper here drops his sigh. Okay, so this is the last real full stage, and we're getting a classic devil dumping set piece, the crumbling bridge. In this game, this stage also has appearances from some of the previous bosses, like here the big skeleton from the first stage is pulling down the bridge. And this stage also has an interesting boss fight. This boss fight can crash the game, depending on which patterns it uses. That's what I meant by the game dumping us. Oh, see, he's back here again. Kinda invincible, he's just there to annoy me. And to get generated infinitely. Got the red blobs as well. Everyone's here, all your favorites. So this is a pretty difficult room, it's got a difficult platform cycle. Let's see if I can get it. Okay.
登ってくステージか、これで。
Okay, that one was a little bit late, but other than that, oh no. Okay, that's what I meant, accidentally latching onto a hook. It can also easily happen that it just dumps you all the way down to where the instant death red slimes are. Please don't squash me. Okay. Still going.
のコウモリはなかなか。
Come on. Let me pass. That's Shoggoth, just blocking us a little bit.
Ah, シャンデリアは大ダメージだけど死にはしないのか。じゃあさっきのでかい本がは何だったんだ。本じゃないや、でかい絵画がやっぱ特殊だったんでしょうね。
Okay, here we go. So this is DORIS. She's got all of our attacks. And if she ever uses the spinning whip for longer than a second or so, it's gonna crash the game. And then we have to retry the stage. But it doesn't really happen that often for me. There we go. Quick fight. So one of the other speedrunners of this game, who's in chat as well, Quark here, has actually dug into the game maker scripts of this game and has identified and fixed the bug, but I thought it would be more fun to have the original devil dumping experience. Okay, so here's the final boss fight. This is the Duke of Judgment. He's the devil that needs a dumping. And his weak point is
これが悪魔になった領主さんかな。もしかして例に倣って頭にしかダメージ判定ないのでは。ああ、頭にしかダメージ判定なさそう。ほら怪物になった領主なんで。
don't want to lose too much health. The next phase usually hits me a few times at least. Okay, here we go. Last phase. So in this phase there's a really cool glitch. You can get more than one of your spinning whips to spin, to spawn. I've seen at least 4, I think. We've got 2 already. And of course that does multiple hits then to the boss. Looks like we've got 3 maybe. There we go. And that's it.
Oh.
Devil success.
Good game かな？グッドゲームです。無事に城主さんを倒して。あれ世界文化遺産登録済みでは、あの城。
Doris takes one last look at the moon and off she struts to dump the next devil.
長く苦しい。
So if you like this game, you can get it on Steam. It's like $3 probably. And I think it's pretty fun and a lot of people actually have played it and really enjoyed it. And I would just like to say a few thanks here. So thank you very much to Sardus for making this game.
文化遺産なのでスーッと消えていきましたね。登録抹消。
I've seen, I don't know, 5, 6, probably more people play this on Twitch.
いやなかなか楽しませていただきました。
Also, big thank you to Hollyhack maybe, who's done a bunch of research on this game and the developer. Which is
ただいま、ご視聴いただいたゲームは、デビルダンパードリスでした。奏者はテディラスさんかな？ちょっと読み方がわからないのですが、あれ様でした。この後も、ビッグバッドゲーム、続きますので、ご視聴いただければ幸いです。次のゲームは悪魔城ドラキュラ目視録、ランダマイザーですね。EST は2時間30分、任天堂64のゲームとなっております。引き続き、ジャパニーズリストリームを、お楽しみください。
If it isn't possibly
はい、
potentially
ランダマイザーですね。
your new host, who is coincidentally also
はい、
your
こ
new
ちらの方、解説の方いらっしゃいませんので、詳しいよ、知ってるよ、やってるよという方いらっしゃいましたら、よければご応募ください。
This game's name is Castlevania. Randomizer, because you know why? Why? So stay tuned. We're gonna have a comfy 2-ish hours. We're gonna play through this randomizer and hang tight, and I'll wrangle your next runner, Miss Flannel Cap. See you soon, friends.